welcome back to Digital Assets Daily. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in your corner of the world. Ripple versus Swift. Can XRP overthrow the payments giant is the question. So it's a matchup that pits cryptocurrency and blockchain tech against the world. And when we think of crypto assets integrating into our society, there aren't many places where the benefits will be more strongly felt than in international transactions. Swift being the world's largest international payments provider, but despite its enormous reach and adoption, Swift has its faults. Can XRP and XRPL disrupt the siphon market share from the global heavyweight? Yeah, I'd say the answer is yes. And the only other exception would be as everyone goes ISO 20022. If it does move towards XDC and use the XDC network, then it's going to be kind of a mash, kind of a tie. But I believe the way by design, XRP will definitely at least get a percentage of that share, even if it does so. So that's kind of really the discussion I wanted to get into with this, as Swift kind of was a messaging system where it still wasn't closure and settlement instantaneous the way Ripple does with XRP. And that's kind of one of the things moving forward, what we've always discussed on this channel, you know, the three tiers of finance, the wholesale, retail, and the trade finance. And again, those are going to be XRP, XLM, XDC, and they will benefit probably the most significant with all of the new changeover to the ISO 20022 system. Those are going to be the major players. I believe there's 8 total, but as far as the functions, what go, the actual design for currency and for trading and I said kind of training. It was kind of like changing and trading all in one word. But what I meant to say was like transitioning, sending, processing money. Those three are going to be the major players in that, and I think that's where XRP will shine. So another analyst shows XRP rallying to $6 or $22 in 2 different scenarios and says buy the dip. 2 possible paths for XRP, and that's going to be building on his analysis from December of 2023. Agrag Crypto reinforced his prediction, saying as long as XRP maintains its symmetrical triangle formation, then consider these dips as buying opportunities. And 2 possible scenarios for XRP's future direction: scenario 1, sustaining the uptrend, and scenario 2, overcoming a downturn. And the news released yesterday, I think I'll wait on that because we're getting into an article and I'll share my thoughts on that discussion then as far as what Ripple. But there's so much major information coming out. It's very, very exciting. Well, it was released yesterday and today. Pardon me. Ripple's report suggests that the DeFi industry to hit $601 billion by 2032. I guess that's kind of significant. I think here's my thoughts on that. Remember, Brad Garlinghouse came out, and if you have the list of 9, please share that below. Because every time we do this video, it does get released, of course, here on YouTube, but it also does get released on X. So if you're listening and you follow us on X, and you have that list of 9, or even the video where Brad Garlinghouse has stated, I know I shared it, but for some reason I cannot locate it. I do not know what I labeled that or what I typed in that to even find it on our post. And we post so much information trying to give you guys, as much knowledge as you can of what's going on. And again, everything we share is only shared because it affects our investment. And I believe it infects it. Let's go. I guess you could say affects it. Kind of stumbling over my words today. I'm pretty excited. I mean, there's just so much going on. I hate using the cliche words of we're so close, because when you've been here for 8 to 10 years, like many of us have, like now we know we're in the final stretch. So it really is so close. But again, it's still one of those things where you get so annoyed to hear that, because I digress beyond that. I don't want to go into too much because I know there's a lot of people who really enjoy the entertainment value of the Riddlers, etc. But I've just seen them wreck so many people. But I'm not going to go into that. I'll leave it as it is because there's a part of me that does enjoy them as well. So I think the information coming out with Ripple is humongous. And let's just go into this for a second. Ripple with the crypto leaders, the report highlights a need for compliance first approach, which will eventually drive the decentralized finance DeFi industry forward. It mentioned that Ripple with TRM Labs hosted a public-private roundtable at the Elevandi Insights Forum during the Singapore FinTech Festival. This was done in order to drive, or delve, I should say, into the regulatory complications faced globally and how it is shaping the future of DeFi. And according to the report, the DeFi industry is expected to reach $601 billion by 2032. In this journey, the key challenge the industry faces is the need for a universally accepted definition. And that's, again, I want to go back into where I was getting into this. If you have that video of Brad Garlinghouse, or even if you can just list the 9, if you've seen the interview of Brad Garlinghouse speaking, you'll know exactly what I mean. On our X, if you don't mind sharing that video again, even if it's from our page, that is totally fine. Or just the 9 industries that they're going into, Brad discussed. The ones off the top of my head, I could probably figure it out if I think deep about it, but it just, I don't want to give myself a headache about it. But here it is. Brad mentioned they were, of course, going into cross-border. They were going into tokenization. They were going into CBDCs. They were going into real estate. They were going into insurance. And the other 4, I cannot remember. DeFi could have been one of those, but I just don't remember. So if you're listening to this and you follow us on X and you remember that interview, please reshare it. Or if you remember the 9 industries that Brad was talking about, please share that as well. I had a discussion recently and it really connected back to that, and that would have given it so much more power. But from here on, if you have that and you share that, I will write that down this time so I do not forget, because that's massive. Again, you can see that's 301 billion by 2032 in DeFi alone. So DeFi could have been one of those. Let's call it number 6. There's still 3 more industries. Each one of those are massive. Now, as they add up, what was it that released yesterday? A CEO of, oh man, one of the exchanges. Again, it's something that we shared yesterday. Just so much, it's kind of a blur. I remember at the beginning, you could probably find one Ripple article every other year. Until now, there's just so much massive news every day, all day long, coming out that's massive. And we'll get into more of that here just in a few minutes, so stick around. But the other thing that came out yesterday, one of the CEOs of the exchanges said he believes Ripple will be in a 50 trillion market by 2025. Think about that. It's now officially 2024. When we started this channel back in the beginning of 2019, we saw back then and researched the end game. It wasn't even the end game, but you know what I mean? The goal line, so to speak, was 2025. We always stated that. We, thought maybe things had sped up because they had stated, we listened to David Schwartz and we listened to Brad Garlinghouse, and they had stated, 2018, 2020, 2022. There were delays. We get it. So we stopped focusing on that. We went back to our original date that we had said from the beginning of this channel of 2025. I believe something will happen this year, but having said that, we know without question 2025. And the reason why, XRP was the only asset to be manipulated, suppressed, I guess you could say suppressed manipulation in the last bull run, completely held down, and kind of a partial secondary pump that others saw, but it was held down from 2021. This is a 4-year cycle. We were one of the first few, us and another guy from the Bitcoin community, who were expressing back then that there was a 4-year cycle. And so a lot of people disputed that and said, no, that's not how it works. We're going to have a bull run next month, blah, 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 blah. You know how it goes. You've been in this industry. You've seen it. We don't attack anyone. We don't care about that. Research proves, supports everything that we share with you. And we try to minimize our opinion on here. So many times we're about to get into it and people beg and ask for me to share my opinion, but it's just really difficult because things can change that. So I try to keep mine very, 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 very connected to the facts and share, from that perspective. We try to stay neutral. We know we're not maximalist here in either direction. we came into Bitcoin. We've followed this whole entire industry since Bitcoin was 25 cents. I saw people when Bitcoin was at $8 saying it was an S coin. They were done with it. They were sick and tired of it. I saw the Pete's guy. And all of this was cool. I've seen, even David Schwartz, how he said the sell of his Ethereum to pay for products at his house. I believe it was solar panels or something to that effect. And he even recently said how that was something that he partially regretted because he no longer even lives in that house, which he had spent a significant amount at current value of Ethereum to do his upgrades, so to speak. So, I mean, if you've been here long enough, you're going to see it. We all make mistakes. We've won some, we've lost some, but it's the overall where you want your winning to be higher. And again, with every investment, we try to share so that you have the knowledge. And with anything, do your own research so that you know confidently in what you're invested in, because as we always say here, know what you hold. And here's another thing too. There's so much out there where, different wallets, different exchanges, etc. And we had always said, if you don't hold your keys, you don't hold your crypto, etc. There is a very, very good option if you're looking for wallets. One of the most impressive, and I have a handful. If you've been around a while, you probably have over a dozen wallets, but they're for different reasoning. Having said that, one of my favorite recent, it doesn't cost you a penny. So there's nothing to lose. If you're looking for another wallet, check out the Volta wallet. It's on X. You can check it out, Volta wallet. I don't remember off the top of my head what it's called, but you can find it. You'll search and find it. It's an amazing wallet. It's free at the App Store, but they just updated their system with the ERC20 tokens. So you can have that on there. You can have XRP on there. You can have Bitcoin on there. They just also, what was it, a week or two ago? I'm trying to think, because I just spent a week in Puerto Rico. Just came back. Spent some time in Aguadilla and traveled all around that area. So my timeline is slightly skewed on that, but they just before the vacation had posted, they update also the system to hold the Stellar ecosystem as well. So, I mean, you have an amazing wallet with over 90,000 trading pairs, one of the most amazing wallets in the world. And it also offers something quite unique to the entire industry, is they have custodial and non-custodial options for you to choose from. So, I'm old school, so I chose the non-custodial from the whole not your keys, not your crypto thing. But there is a benefit for those of you who don't like to take the risk of holding your own keys and losing everything that you've invested in. There is the custodial option where you can, at that point, if you make a mistake, say, hey, I screwed up, can you fix it? And in a few minutes, they have you up and running back where you were before your mistake. So, again, keep that in mind. I probably could have even pulled one up here for the show today, but check out Volta Wallet on X or message me on X, and I'll get you connected with those guys. But, again, it's a free wallet. You have nothing to lose. Choose custodial, non-custodial. If you're not sure or not confident, grab it, check it out, play around with it for free, test it out, send yourself some of these other coin options. Don't hold me to it, but I believe if you're going to use the Stellar ecosystem and the multi-ecosystem Bitcoin ERC20, I don't know entirely, but I do believe that option has to be non-custodial. You can also message them to confirm that, but I believe to hold the benefit the most out of the ecosystem from the Volta wallet is going to be that non-custodial option, where you hold your keys and you hold your crypto. Also, too, again, I know soon the XRPayNet guys are getting ready to release their card. There were some delays, like with everything. Right now, delays have just become the norm. We've seen that with Ripple and XRP. But I think we're really, really, really close to this, everything just taking off all at once altogether. So they've been working the past, year and a half on the crypto card, and it is coming out really soon. And that's very, very exciting for me as well, because, back in the old days, you used to think about, okay, how are we going to plan an exit strategy once our token reaches a certain price? But to me, the cool thing is options like this, we may never, ever have to exit, and which is only going to increase the value in our assets, because we might be able to just use them on those cards and then never have to transfer out of them for spending. But again, guys, kind of got rambled on past the point here, but I think that was all relative and good information that we needed to discuss. So going back into the news, Netflix to air XRP Unleashed documentary, the inside scoop on Ripple and crypto regulation. This has been very cool. We shared the little trailer that they've got going on X. I believe it was yesterday or the day before, but if you haven't seen it, you're definitely going to want to watch this. If you hold XRP on any level, if you hold one of them or if you hold a billion of them, I think you're going to be very interested in this. And you can go to our page and check out the trailer as well. But XRP Unleashed trailer launch, and here's what to expect. A crypto expert, Abs, writes on X about the mega release of the XRP Unleashed trailer, and he shares it with the community and starts a poll to see how many people want to watch the full documentary when it comes out on streaming services. Surprisingly, a vast 94.4% of the group was excited to watch the documentary to get the inside scoop on Ripple versus the SEC. So keep your eye out for that, and that will be something you will want to see. Also, going into the next article, Binance freezes, a little tongue twister there, 4.2 million in stolen XRP. Ripple investigation aided by XRP Ledger Foundation. And again, that was the Ripple co-founder, Chris Larson's personal holdings. Again, to clarify, it was not Ripple. It was not their wallets. None of them had been hacked. It was Chris Larson's personal holdings. And again, that connected to Binance, and CEO Richard Tang revealed that the platform had successfully managed to freeze $4.2 million of the compromised assets. And Tang elaborated that Binance is committed to supporting Ripple in their investigation, indicating ongoing collaboration. And here is a big deal, in my opinion. This is a huge deal to me. The last and final article of this video is Ripple payments to go live in the U.S. amid the SEC battle and hack fiasco. American blockchain payments firm Ripple Labs Inc. is set to relaunch Ripple payments in the country after 3 years of shunning itself from the region. And this is very, 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 very massive. Remember this, because a lot of people had forgotten this, or some were actually unaware altogether. But ODL, which we always heard, it wasn't exclusive to XRP by no means, but it was always focused on using XRP as the asset for the on-demand liquidity, the ODL. Having said that, last year in September, Ripple rebranded, I guess you could phrase it, ODL to Ripple Payments. So Ripple Payments today is the current version of the old ODL. So you're not going to hear ODL anymore. Now you hear Ripple Payments. And I think that's where people aren't realizing the massivity of this and how big this is. Because as they've been stating this year, especially this month and even the past week, all of the things that are happening and going live with Ripple Payments. Now they're going live with Ripple Payments in the USA. Moving on, so there's a two-part thought on this. Is the, like the settlement done? And we haven't heard public acknowledgement of that? Or is it coming up very soon that they are aware of it? And again, we still haven't heard public acknowledgement of that. Or is it that they have the clarity now, as Honorable Judge Annalisa Torres stated, that XRP is hashtag not a security. So having said that, when they did the not a security, that gave them the blessing to move forward, even in the USA. By lack of regulations, the judge actually gave them full regulatory clarity at that point, because that's when they also partnered with Uphold. And Uphold was there to partner with Ripple to be able to make all of the sales that they needed. Because the biggest part of the court case has been the clarity of, like the lawsuit, which was also dismissed with Chris Larson and Brad Garlinghouse with the direct sales. So the judge basically, in a rough explanation, said if they're not selling it and they buy them from exchanges, XRP is not a security, they can perform as it was designed to perform. So there you have it, in a sense, kind of the roundabout, the loophole, the legal clarity they need. If you want to use XRP, buy it from Uphold. If you want to use Ripple, go right ahead. Now there's full clarity, because XRP is not a security. It's designed for cross-border currency. So again, To me, this is massive, and the news that's been coming out is with Ripple getting its license, the money transmitter licenses here in the U.S. So these upgrades would be powered by their expensive money transmitter license, the MTLs, and would target the majority of the U.S. states. So despite 90% of U.S. business thriving internationally, this bold initiative marks a notable return to the U.S. market for Ripple payments. Moreover, this initiative comes amid legal scrutiny from the SEC and the recent XRP hack, which increases the weight of the announcement. So this is very, 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 very huge. Now, if you've got Ripple payments going live in the U.S. and they get all of the states, or whatever the necessary amount of states, probably, I would say probably all 50, the MTLs, and then they release an IPO, I mean, golly almighty, the sky's the limit on how big Ripple is going to be and how high XRP could actually launch and reach. Because again, think back, it's not just designed for one thing. As Brad Garlinghouse stated, again, if you know, please post on our X below. But the 9 different industries, I mean, that's massive. And we roughly repeated about 6 of them. And again, 2 of them, one of them alone was 301 billion by, I think it said 2032. The next one was 50 trillion market by 2025. Those are just 2 of the markets, and there's still 7 more. So now where do you think the value of that is? Okay, here, think this out loud. Grab a calculator. If it's a 50 trillion market, XRP has a 53 billion circulating supply. Divide that, and what kind of a number would you come up with for the value and price of XRP? And again, here's the thing that a lot of people aren't realizing. Whatever number you come up with has to be significantly higher, because that's a one-time wash. Remember, there's a little bit of a burn factor, which is not insignificant over a 50 to 100 year cycle. This being the 4th industrial revolution, AI emerging already into the 5th industrial revolution. So we're kind of having a merger of 2, transition between the 2 industrial revolutions. But having said that, this has to last like the last previous, I think currently we're around 47 years of the old antiquated system. So again, if you ran the numbers on the 2 I just showed you, the 50 trillion divided by 53 billion current circulating supply, that's kind of a wash. Remember, that has to last for at least 50 years. It's a 50 to 100 year cycle for the currencies globally. So again, there's a burn rate with that. There's a factor where nothing is ever a wash. Wherever have you seen in history that the governments have had the exact amount and not laid room for error? So they would always have to increase it above the number that you're coming up with. And again, that's only one of the 9 industries that Brad is focusing on. And as Brad said in his Peanut Butter Manifesto when he was running Yahoo and took it to its success, is he will not change, let's say, industries until the one that they have done is maximized with laser-like focus. So again, to me, that's very, very, very bullish. All of the above, and knowing how Brad operates from his historic statistics, so to speak. But again, guys, man, I'm pumped like never before. No matter what, like, we know there's so much coming out that we know that this is the real deal. We've shown in research since 2019. Finally, everything is here. Stuff is catching up, and there's been some new surprises, which has been very, very cool to see from what we even discussed back then. But I feel revived. I feel refreshed. I feel excited again. Thanks for everyone's support. Thanks for always being here. I feel like the end game is like within sight, kind of the light at the end of the tunnel. And this is one of those lights where you know it's not the train coming at you to smash you and run you over. This is truly the light at the end of the tunnel where you can see the view, and it's getting closer by the minute. This is exciting, guys. So again, always do your own research. Remember, everything here is not financial advice. It's for entertainment purposes only. But I'm bullish. I'm excited. I feel like we're very, very close. And as always, before we go, I do want to leave you with a final thought. When you have a dream, you've got to grab it and never let go. Much love, guys, and we will catch you in the next one.